Good morning, Willard Wildcats. Happy Monday, April 20th. Today we're going to be reading a book on books and birthdays called The Almost Fearless Hamilton Squidlegger. But before we read this book, I want to talk to you a little bit about the IB Attitudes and the Learner Profile. Remember, our IB attitude this month that we are celebrating is independence. And a huge part of being independent and doing things on your own is agency. Agency means we take control over our own learning and different things in our lives. Like, for example, this month you are learning on Chromebooks. Make sure that you take control over your own Chromebook and you power it down all the way every night, because it gets tired like you get tired and it needs to turn all the way off. Just closing the lid doesn't make it go to sleep. And the IB learner profile characteristic that we are celebrating is being reflective. And today, in this book, we are going to be celebrating both the attitudes and the learner profile that we have been talking about this month of April. In this book, our friend Hamilton learns how to take agency over his own bedtime. So let's begin. And before we read, I have to give a special thanks to Mateo Walker, who recommended this book. If you have book recommendations for me, you can put them in the comments, or you can tell your teacher, or you can email me. The Almost Fearless Hamilton Squidlegger by Timothy Basil Earing. Look at that dreamy parachute. A hot air balloon, rather. The Almost Fearless Hamilton Squidlegger. During the hours when the sun shares its light, Hamilton is a daring doer and a dream come truer. Why, he's the rippingest, roaringest squidlegger in the Scrintleberry Swamp. Dad, Dad, watch, Dad, Hamilton calls out. My mighty shield can block the flames of a fire-breathing freckle snapper. Amazing, Hamilton, your strength and speed are stupendous, says Dad. And my sword can dodge the claws of a Scraggle-Craggon. What courage you have it takes to be one brave squiggle-legger to tickle the foot of a Bracklesneed. One might say Hamilton Squidlegger is fearless. Well, not quite. He's almost fearless. You see, when the sun disappears behind the Scrintleberry trees, it won't be long before it's bedtime. Remember, we said we were going to talk about agency. So let's see what Hamilton chooses to do. Each night at bedtime, Hamilton's dad has to plead with Hamilton. Please, 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 son, stay in your own mud tonight, he says. All alone, Hamilton lasts about 2 minutes before he hears something. What's that? Is it the sound of a freckle snapper, or a Skellicraggon, or a Bracklesneed? Hamilton springs from his mud. Do you think it's Hamilton's imagination? I think so too. And scrambles to his secret hideaway. The next day, when the sun snaps up from behind the Scrintleberry trees, Hamilton will wake with vigor. He is fearless once again. Well, friends, this went on until one particular afternoon when Hamilton was sneaking, wrestling, and sword fighting, and his nose discovered the scent of something that dreams are made of. Ooh, what do you think he smells? What's your favorite thing to smell in your space? A double-decker grasshopper worm cake with snake belly frosting. It was Hamilton's absolute favorite treat. I made this especially for you, Hamilton, said his father. You can eat it all for breakfast tomorrow under one condition. Tonight, you must stay in your own mud. Anything for that delicious cake, Hamilton exclaimed. But when steel gray rain clouds darkened the swamp and the boom of thunder shook the Scrintleberries, Hamilton had doubts. What if a lightning monster comes tonight? He asked, crawling reluctantly into his mud. Ha, scoffed his dad. What if one does? Think good thoughts is what I say. Monsters are silly and they love to play. Have a cake fight with it. He gave Hamilton a kiss goodnight, gently patted him between the eyes, and then doused the light. Hamilton knew he would be too afraid to have a cake fight with any lightning monster. Plus, he wanted to eat the cake. Yawn, not play with it. He imagined licking the delicious frosting. Is he getting sleepy? He imagined the yummy crunch on the baked grasshoppers. He was tongue length away from a juicy, soft-boiled worm when, splat! There was a lightning monster, and his dad was right behind it, throwing a glop of cake at the monster's ear. Grasshoppers and worms splatted everywhere as the monster scraped off some snake belly frosting and pitched it right back. Off they ran, giggling and laughing till they were out of sight. Hamilton followed the trail of frosting. When the trail ended at an old TV, Hamilton turned and twisted the knobs. "Where are you, Dad?" At that very moment, he heard his dad's voice, and appearing in the TV screen, pedaling a triple-seated scrackle cycle, where his dad and the lightning monster were. "Nothing to be afraid of, son, is what I say. Monsters come and they want to play." Then the TV shook wildly as though it were alive, and out from the top, bottom, and sides of Bracklesneed's tentacles appeared and grew bigger and bigger. What's more, the TV was squirting and spraying hundreds of gallons of pink lemonade everywhere. Soon the entire place was flooded. Luckily, Hamilton was able to climb aboard a passing ship, but unluckily, the Bracklesneed wanted to board the ship too. What do you think's happening right now? It's maybe a dream? Oh, now you hear Daisy. Hey, Daisy. It's okay. The Bracklesneed won't bother anybody. Come on over, Daisy. Come say hi. Hi, Daisy. Can you guys see Daisy? This is Daisy. The ship's bow heaved in the huge pink waves, tossing Hamilton through the air and right down through a hatch into the galley, where a striped bass stood calmly at a stove, humming sea shanties and cooking pancakes. "A monster is trying to sink the ship," Hamilton screamed. "No worries, mate," the bass replied. "I've invited it for a snack. Always be nice to the Bracklesneed is what I say. They make great friends, and they love to play." And the fish asked Hamilton to help the Bracklesneed into the galley. Hamilton bravely did as the bass had asked. "Now to feed my other two friends," the fish said, flipping some pancakes up through the hatch. "Upward ho!" he shouted. Hamilton climbed up and was amazed to see that the Scraggle-Craggon was now manning the helm. The Frackin' Snapper was on board too. "Trim the balloon rigging," cried the bass, while he and the Bracklesneed mounted the deck. Upward ho we go. Powered by the Frackin' Snapper's wild breath, the ship began to rise. They sailed through the air. Oh, look, there's that hot air balloon we saw from the title page. Over magnificent, breathtaking things. This is a really beautiful picture. Look at all the things that Hamilton's seen. But Hamilton missed his dad. He borrowed a spotting scope and looked far and wide, following a rainbow all the way down to where its arc began. Hamilton saw something that made his eyes widen with joy. "Dad," cried Hamilton, "Dad, Dad!" Who should be on that cloud but his beloved dad and the lightning monster? The ship raced down the arc, and everyone was thrilled to be reunited. A celebration ensued, and oh my, could those squiggle leggers dance. That the friends played and sang together until the sun began to slip down behind the horizon. Hamilton climbed back up to the poop deck and gazed out. He knew he needed to tell others before it got too late. "It's bedtime," Hamilton proclaimed. All the friends cheered with joy. They hurried off to brush their teeth and wash their faces, hands, claws, and tentacles. so they could listen to Hamilton's dad read them a book before they went to sleep in their very own cabins. And that was the moment when the almost fearless Hamilton Squidlegger became totally fearless. The end. Thank you, Wildcats. Remember, we are safe, respectful, and responsible. And this month, in order to stay safe, we're staying at home. Have a wonderful day.